his sense of being maddened by her. Yes, Mom, I'm talking about you.
B.D. Wong tells us how art imitates life on season 2 of Nora from Queens. And we've got the stories that define the week on People in 10. I'm Andrea Belke, bringing you everything you need to know about pop culture right now. We've got 10 minutes, so let's dive right in with the first 5. Starting with Christina Applegate, who revealed this week she's been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Christina tweeted that she was diagnosed a few months ago and that it's been a strange journey and a tough road, but she's since received some support from others with the same condition.
And Christina's fellow actors showed that they have her back too.
Selma Blair, who was diagnosed with MS in 2018, tweeted that she loves Christina and will always be there for her. Josh Gad wrote that he doesn't know anyone stronger, braver, or more courageous than Christina. And Mark Duplass sent his love as well.
This isn't the first time the actress is facing major health struggles.
Christina has overcome breast cancer, a double mastectomy, and the removal of her ovaries and fallopian tubes due to a heightened risk of developing cancer. She's since experienced surgery-induced menopause and also a long battle with insomnia. One thing we know, she's a fighter.
Moving on to a story you've been following closely on People.com.
Okay, lady, when I become a successful writer, you will never see penny one from my success.
Quentin Tarantino is keeping a childhood promise.
While talking to Billions co-creator Brian Koppelman, Quentin revealed that when he was 12, he vowed to never share any money from his success with his mom. He felt she mocked him and his filmmaking aspirations.
There'll be no house for you. There's no vacation for you. No Elvis Cadillac for mommy.
He said his mom and his teachers had viewed his screenwriting as a defiant act of rebellion.
Is that right, Jimmy?
100%.
Quentin clarified that his mom mostly discouraged him from writing screenplays during the school day instead of doing other schoolwork. But he's standing by his decision.
There are consequences for your sarcastic tone.
He did say he helped her out when she was in a jam with the IRS.
All right, now on to the posts you've been loving this week. To bathe or not to bathe? That is the question on the mind of celebrities these days. And now Dwayne Johnson is weighing in. He replied to a fan on Twitter, revealing not only that he showers 3 times a day, he also sings off-key while he does it. Meanwhile, Chrissy Teigen is firing back at people who are suspicious about the lack of so-called angry comments on her posts.
They think that I, delete them. But what? That's next level hater.
And Hilaria Baldwin admitted this week that she doesn't have a seamless way to explain the age difference between her youngest kids. 11-month-old Edu and 5-month-old Marilu are only about 6 months apart because Marilu was welcomed via surrogate. Hilaria said on Instagram, it's such a wild story that she hasn't mastered telling it yet, but she has learned that joking about it diffuses the situation. In this week's People Family Issue, we are catching up with John Stamos, his wife Caitlin, and their 3-year-old son Billy.
I still don't know where he came from. He looks nothing like either of us.
He doesn't look anything like us.
But one thing's for sure, Billy definitely got his dad's charm.
He's got a girlfriend named Bella.
I think he's a little young for it. Bella lives down the street and they're good buddies, and they'll send me pictures of them hugging and one kissing. I'm like, it's too soon for that. They were up against a palm tree or something.
Billy also has some strong opinions about dad's job.
He does not like watching me on TV.
Except
what?
the one scene where you're getting hit by a monkey.
Has Uncle Jesse been a bad boy?
And at the end of the day, life in the Stamos household is more relatable than you think.
We're just like everybody else, right? I mean, especially going through the last year and a half was not easy for, anybody. But I'm being very honest. At night, I am so grateful for you. That's it.
The Tokyo Olympics have officially come to an end, and it was one for the books. We're taking a final look at the action, brought to you by Lilly, a medicine company. The United States brought home the most medals this time around, beating out China 113-88. America also claimed the most gold medals, edging out China again by a tight margin, 39-38. And so many athletes made history at these Summer Games, including Allison Felix, who became the most decorated American track and field Olympian ever.
It's bigger than sport. It's bigger than performances or medals or any of that. It's about impact.
Luckily, we have so much more to look forward to in Tokyo as athletes take the world stage once again for the Summer Paralympics in less than 2 weeks. Then Tokyo will pass the torch to Paris for 2024. It's been 100 years since the City of Light hosted a Summer Games. And this time, there will be a brand new sporting event. Breakdancing, yes, breakdancing, will be introduced to the competition for the first time in history. The question is, should I throw my hat in the ring? No? Okay, don't answer that. Now, let's move on to some screen time. I am joined now by BD Wong. He's back on TV in the new season of Awkwafina is Nora from Queens, which premieres on Comedy Central August 18th.
Wake up, Nora! You have to go to work. I can hear you.
For these final 5 minutes of the show, I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. For question number 1, you have to give me 1 answer. For question number 2, you have to give me 2 answers, and so on. Let's get started. First up, the show is written and created by Awkwafina, and it's based on her real life growing up in Queens. Yes! So her childhood clearly is impacting the stories we're seeing on screen. But I want to know, what is one memory you have from growing up that would definitely be included in this show if you were writing it?
I did have some weird jobs. I made chocolate chip cookies while I was in high school or a little bit after high school. I also worked at a place called Herb's Deli, and I got fired from Herb's Deli because I was too slow making sandwiches during the lunch rush. And I was artistically making these like sandwiches, like making them all very nice. And there was like a line of people. I didn't last long there.
What are 2 things you relate to your character about?
To the character's love for his mom and his sense of being maddened by her.
It was the plastic.
That don't smell like the plastic, Mom.
Yes, Mom, I'm talking about you. Living in San Francisco where I grew up, she's a very strong, she's not quite like the character Lori plays in the show.
I got next.
But she's a very strong, very popular, she's very popular on my Facebook feed. Whenever I publish videos of her shopping for wine and stuff like that.
Hey, tell the people what we're getting.
Yes. Jack Daniels.
And that I have a 20-something young son. And I really relate to this idea of trying to do the best you can to let them find their way without telling them what to do, and while at the same time worrying about how they'll turn out or what's going to happen or whether they'll make a good choice. And I do like sharing this chapter of his life with him a great deal.
And we see Wally navigating his relationship with Brenda this season. Since he's hopeful about finding love, what are 3 constants in your life that you love and you couldn't live without?
Friendship, and the way that a friendship can go both ways. You know, you depend on your friends and they depend on you. Good food is so important to me, and I have learned to cook, and I've cooked even more during the pandemic and have gotten really good at it. I am kind of a workaholic. No. I discovered that I was a performer early on in my life, and I've never turned my back on that path.
We see in the trailer Nora saying,
Los Angeles, here we come!
And since the show is set in Queens, it had me thinking, what are 4 things that you have in your travel routine that you have to have with you on a long flight or a road trip?
I have to be able to take my shoes off, so I have to be able to have good, heavy socks. I've left so many chargers in so many hotel rooms. It's so sad, but you have to have a charger, right? Why don't I make a list of the things that I always have to bring and have that list handy when I'm trying to pack? I guess that's one thing that I should say that I need is a list. And then the 4th thing for traveling, I was doing a show called Awake on NBC. I was commuting to New York from LA, and I was driving to the airport at 4 o'clock in the morning when I realized that my driver's license was in my costume.
Oh.
I had to try to get on a flight without ID. And it was the craziest, weird kind of FBI almost kind of experience. But I was able to get on the flight without the ID once I went through this process. But don't forget your ID.
And finally, what are 5 reasons that people should watch the new season of Awkwafina is Nora from Queens?
1, hilarious.
That's my underwear.
We're wearing grandma's underwear.
No, I'm not wearing grandma's underwear. These are my underwears. I bought these for the 99-cent store.
2, very much deeper than it was before.
Oh my God.
3, Wally and Brenda.
I've been going out with Brenda for a while now.
Brenda is Wally's girlfriend from season 1. She comes into season 2. They get more serious.
What do you mean to get serious? Serious?
The presence of any woman in Wally's life creates a lot of feelings for Nora.
I'll always
4, Bowen Yang,
Can't leave your room without catching Hep C.
who is an out gay actor like I am and who is full of his own sense of self-expression and identity. And number 5 is this idea of heart.
What are we talking about? Like nonprofit work, charity work?
Acting.
BD, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, be sure to check him out in the new season of Awkwafina is Nora from Queens, which premieres on Comedy Central August 18th. All right, time's up. See you next Thursday.